Okay guys, okay, now what we'll be talking about, we'll talk about HDB sell and purchase timeline. Okay, so
Very interesting topic.
yeah, it's a very interesting topic. I tell you, even right until now, right, those 1 year agent, not my agents, my agents all know it. Those 1 year agents, I tell you, they will surely cock up somewhere one because not enough experience. Because we bang a lot of walls, so we know what's happening. Okay?
So when you sell a house, very important. The price very important, and also the smooth transition to your next house is very important. I mean, who wants to go out and rent and then move twice, right? So usually people want to like sell and then move straight away to their next house and already renovated and all. So very important the timeline for.
Yeah, I would say there's no perfect scenario here. I mean right now market is a bit slower. Units are getting longer to move. Like 4-room flats are very slow now also. So there's no perfect one. Like some of my sellers, they understand. They want a high price. They have to compromise on their extension. So instead of 3, they go for 2 months extension. Yeah. So this one is a give and take, depending on the market conditions lah. So if it's a seller's market, sellers of course you what you want also can. Yeah. But now it's not a seller's market. Now I would say it's a nobody's market. Yeah. So it's a little bit tricky lah. So sellers, sometimes you have to run pull also to your buyers. You get a high price, the conditions maybe you need to give in a little bit. You need to like retreat a little bit lah, okay? But if you can get everything a high price plus best condition then you must sell lah. And you have to let go lah. Don't think so much, okay? So straightforward, maybe we dive straight into the timeline. So firstly, we talk about the sale, whereby you look at the blue color numbers 1 to 7. So this one is what we actually explained just now. Yeah. So the tricky part comes when you want to buy another unit concurrently.
So a lot of times our seller will ask us, should we buy first or should we sell first?
Yeah. Then this is up to your sellers. Okay, so this is depends on your priority. So sellers out there, all the patterns same one. One, you want high price. Second one, you want a best home, your next home.
For sure, correct.
It must be your last home. So these two. So we always tell our sellers, you have to prioritize. It's either you get a high price or you get the best unit that you want. Because once you sell, let's say you have no place to stay, you go to the next flat that I really like. Once you sell a high price, your timeline starts to run. Yeah, so remember the submission period in our previous video, right? 7 days submission. So normally when you do a sell and buy, you can take a 45-day submission period for you to find your next house.
So this is where the submission days comes to play.
Yeah. So 45-day submission period, when you sell first, these 45 days you die must buy a house. If you don't buy a house, then you won't have extension. Yeah. So in the scenario whereby you have a place to stay, you've got parents' place to stay, I don't think this is a problem. But not a lot of people have the luxury to have this. So most of the time they do a sell and buy concurrently to go to the next flat. So if you sell firstly you can get a high price. Okay? But the downside here is you are in a rush to buy a next flat. So for buyers out there, if you are feng shui specific, you want a specific floor, specific facing, I recommend you to buy first.
We have some buyers who only want that particular block. Like for example, their parents are staying at this block A, so they only want to buy block A. Block B also cannot.
Yeah.
So for these kind of buyers, you have to buy first, because if let's say you sell already, right, and within the next 3 months nobody comes out to sell at block A, right, then you'll be stuck.
Yeah. Then what happens if you buy first? If you go and buy first, of course you can get your dream home. The floor level facing you get according to your feng shui master. But then the downside is, I wouldn't say it's a downside. Sellers, the flip side, the other side is you must be prepared lah. Like you might not be able to get a desired price depending on the market conditions. Yeah, you cannot be expecting a high price and getting the best unit that you want. Of course, we have done that last time, but right now market conditions are a little bit different. Okay, so especially now this market, if you go and buy first, based on your feng shui or whatsoever, you must be prepared lah. Your price, you must be able to lower your price lah. Okay, but also not lower 50k like I mean, like cannot be like you're trying to break the highest record. I don't think it's possible right now. Yeah, so these two scenarios, sellers you have to choose: sell high or get your best home. This one we always let our seller choose. Then depends on what they choose, then we act accordingly. So today, let's say today we want to have a highest price possible. We want to break the record here. Yeah, so I sell first. Look at the blue color line. So buy. I mean sell until we really find a buyer. We go to step number 3. Before we submit the resale application, we have 45 days, right? Remember? So during these 45 days, we must find the next house. So you look at the bottom one, the purchase here.
So there's 2 timelines. the bottom one, which is like the yellow-orange one, is the purchase timeline.
Yeah.
And the one on top, the blue one, is the sale timeline.
I don't say it's yellow-orange lah. I think it's...
Not yellow-orange, golden.
I don't know what's the color, yeah. So, after you OTP here, after you sell your flat, you must start to find your next house already, actually. So when you're finding you're finding find your next house, right? What normally we do is we don't actually we don't take the OTP for the next house first until our buyer exercise our sale here, number 2. Then we take the OTP here.
Why? Because remember in the previous video, we actually mentioned before they exercise, they can actually forfeit the deal in the sense that they will forfeit their option fee and they are not minded to buy the house.
Yeah. So in any case, if they forfeit, then you get nothing lah. If you go and secure unit. But if you don't secure unit first, they forfeit then you get $1,000 you get the option money lah. Okay. So what happens now? Let's say nothing goes wrong. They exercise already here in number 2. Then after that you find the OTP for your purchase. Then the whole timeline will flow. But what is important here is because the submission period is 45 days, right? You have to work a timeline out with the other side, the one that you're buying, the seller, to work it such that your resale application, you time it to be 3 weeks apart. Yeah, why 3 weeks apart? Yeah, this one is the golden question. Why 3 weeks apart? Until now, every time I go for presentation, my seller lost already. This part. They don't know what I'm talking about already. So,
but it's okay, we are here to help.
Yeah, why do we need 3 weeks gap between our sale and purchase completion? These 21 days. Okay, we need 21 days, right? Because your CPF will come in and out to go to your next flat. And this one, you have to use private conveyancing to buy your next place. Your sale doesn't matter. If you are HDB loan or whatever, you can use HDB. But the buying, even if you are using HDB loan or no loan, you have to use private conveyancing if you are doing a sell and buy. Okay, we are not talking about contra here. We are just talking about normal. Yeah. So why these 21 days?
So if let's say, bear in mind, if let's say you want to use your CPF funds in your current house that you are selling, not your CPF OA, the CPF funds from your current house that you are selling, if you want to use all these CPF funds to fund your next house, your purchase, then you need this 3 weeks gap. Because on completion day, remember just now we mentioned that HDB will give you a check, right, for your cash proceed. But what happens to your CPF? So CPF, right, it will go back to your CPF OA and it's not immediate. They require time to process the CPF. So they require time to put this CPF money back into your OA and take it out to fund your purchase. So this timeline is about 3 weeks for them to do this in and out.
Yeah. Then some of your sellers, buyers might be thinking, I'm just using HDB loan. How come I cannot use HDB conveyancing? Yeah, because for HDB to act for you, when you submit the resale application here, number 3, this one, your CPF money must be inside your OA.
Back into your OA already.
Yeah, the officer must be able to see your OA money inside, which is not possible because your CPF money only come out here.
Because your sale is not completed yet.
Yeah, so that's why you cannot use HDB conveyancing. The timeline will never match one. Trust me, because the first case in my whole life, I done already, this one. Yeah, so I learned it the hard way, cannot. So you must use private conveyancing if you are doing a sell and buy, which is non-contra. Okay, so after that, let's say you submit already, you submit 3 weeks apart. That means you submit your sale first, 3 weeks later you submit your purchase. The whole timeline will flow smoothly. Okay, then you reach number 7, this side. Number 7. Okay, so your sale will complete first. The blue color 7 will complete first. The purchase will complete 3 weeks after. Yeah, so what happens after you complete your sale? High likely you are still under extension. You have 3 months of rent-free extension. So these 3 months, this one is 3, right wrongly, this one is 3.
So the maximum number of months HDB can grant is 3 months extension if you are purchasing a next flat under your own name. Then you are eligible to apply for this 3 months extension.
Yeah, so quick question to you guys. If you get 3 months extension but your completion for your purchase is 3 weeks after your sale completion, how many months do you have to move to the next flat?
3 months minus 3 weeks equals to 2 months, 1 week.
Yeah, she confirm don't I mean she do every day yeah. So you get 2 months, 1 week to actually reno and move to your next flat. Yeah, so a lot of sellers will go 哇不够时间呢，2个月怎么做？然后 but Guys, it's just like that.
This is the maximum already.
Yeah, so if you got agents tell you that you only got 2 months plus, please don't go them. It is what it is. You can't get more than 3 months. It's private extension and it's illegal in Singapore. Okay, so doing the extension, something to take note also is when you do extension of stay, technically you are not the owner, but you're staying there for free. So some market agreements we do is the 3 months conservancy, the town council fee you have to reimburse back to the buyers, prorated property tax, and also a $20 admin fee by HDB.
But one thing to take note for property tax, right? It will be higher, much higher than the property tax that you paid previously. Why? Because these 3 months property tax is actually non-owner occupied.
Yeah.
So it's not owner occupied in a way that because you're not the owner anymore, the buyer is the owner, but they are not staying there. That's why the property tax is higher. Okay?
Yeah, and if your incoming buyer, let's say the buyer a flat is a PR, then the property tax will be way higher also. So sellers, you have to take note when you call for extension, these are the fees you have to pay. But of course, it's still cheaper than you going out to rent. Yeah, this one for sure. Okay. So something to take note, like what Joyce mentioned earlier, in order to cater for extension is the next flat you are buying must be a resale. So in this case, let's say for example today you are doing a sell and buy. You sell a HDB, you want to go buy a private new launch, you cannot get extension. Yeah, because it's non-completed. If you go to a private resale, you still can get extension. Yeah, so all these you must take note, guys.
Must be a completed project.
Yeah. So another scenario maybe today I'm selling my mother's place. Only my mother's name. But the next purchase I want to buy with my name, but I use the cash from her place to buy. Can I have extension or not?
The answer is
no. Cannot. Yeah, why cannot? Because the sale is the mother's name. The purchase got no mother's name. So cannot have extension. Yeah, so you have to take note. This one is also one crucial factor that will affect your son. Like you might become homeless. Yeah, so our agent's job here is to always ensure that the timeline is smooth and whatsoever, so that you don't have to go and rent lah. I mean, that's the worst because if I do a sell and buy, I also don't want to go and rent. Okay.
So just to note, we also have sellers. Some sellers asking us like, can I put the address, my sister's address? So I'm selling, but I'm not buying. But then if they call for the address, my next address, I will just put my sister's address. But my name is not inside. The house is owned by my sister. So the answer is no. In this situation also cannot. You must be the owner.
Okay lah. So for HDB sell and buy, for private conveyancing, normal sell and buy, this is how the timeline will look like. Of course, there are many other patterns also. But if you need help, please reach out to us. Okay, we are very skilled in HDB. Okay, so we'll move on to the next example.